Hello everyone, I'm Kathy Power, Superintendent with the Twinsburg City School District. Welcome to Twinsburg Schools Today. Well, I want to also say happy 2016. I hope that your holidays were wonderful and it's a brand new start to a brand new year, and we have a lot of exciting things we want to talk about our Twinsburg City School District. Before we get to today's program, though, I wanted to welcome aboard our two newest Board of Education members, Mr. Matt Salura and Mr. Mark Curtis. We look forward to working with both these new gentlemen on the Twinsburg Board of Education. Well, we have an exciting show planned for you today, and our first guests are going to be talking to us about our new initiative here in our school district in partnership with many, many organizations in town. It's our Fatherhood Initiative. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Bill Michonne.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And of course, Bishop Smith from the Sanctuary of Praise. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you very much.
Well, I am so delighted that both of you are here to talk to our community a little bit about this brand new initiative and what it means to our families here in town. So Bill, about, I want to say more than a year ago now, you came to visit me at our board office to talk about this initiative. Can you explain to our families here a little bit about the Fatherhood Initiative?
Yes, Kathy, I'd be happy to do that. First of all, let me talk to a couple of goals here that we have in the Fatherhood Initiative. We know that children with involved, committed, and responsible fathers do better academically in school. We also know that they are more occupationally mobile young adults. And statistics continue to tell us that they are much less likely to become involved with the justice system, and they are in fact 80% less likely to become unwed parents. So, the goal of every father client that we get involved with is for him to be committed, involved, and responsible to his children so that his children can enjoy all those benefits that I just mentioned. Let's talk for just a moment about the statistics involved. In Summit County, there are about 51,000 households that have adolescent children living in them. 32,000 of those households are dual-parent traditional households. However, about 18,000 or 36% of those households are single-parent households. And if you multiply that by 2 children per household, you're looking at 36,000 children in Summit County as a whole that do not have the benefit of a father in the household. Let's look a little bit more closely at Twinsburg. Twinsburg has about 2,500 households with adolescent children living in them, and about 600 of those are single-parent households. That means then that there are about 1,200 children in Twinsburg that are growing up without the benefit of a committed, involved, and responsible father.
Now, would that be from age 0 to 18?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So, what does the Fatherhood Initiative do to help address that problem? We celebrate fatherhood. First of all, between 50 and 75% of the households are traditional two-parent households. We celebrate that. For example, in Twinsburg, in Summit County, we have the Father's Walk. Twinsburg schools participated in that.
Surely
yes, throughout Summit County, there were probably 2,500 fathers that walked their children to school in September, on September 16 and 17. And what that does is it celebrates fatherhood. But let's look at the other piece of that. Let's look at the piece of the single-parent households where there is not a father involved. What do we do to address those households? Well, we teach fatherhood course material from a nationally recognized author of fatherhood material and used by more than 6,300 organizations worldwide. So best-in-class fatherhood course material.
Now, if I could stop you, Bill.
Sure.
So what is the organization that's behind the Fatherhood Initiative? Is it a standalone, or is it part of Summit County's initiatives?
There are actually 3, let's look at it from 3 prongs that support the Fatherhood Initiative. The first is the practitioners themselves. There are 3 leading practitioners in Summit County that formed the Fatherhood Initiative in about 2012. They had been doing this kind of work since, let's say, 2005 or 6. And the funding sources in Summit County suggested that it might be better if they got together and formed an initiative and just kind of multiplied their efforts. So that's one, the fatherhood practitioners. The second group is the funding agencies, the GAR Foundation, the Akron Community Foundation, the United Way of Summit County, all robust, aggressive funders.
Very influential.
Yes.
In our county.
Yes, and then the final one is the Department of Job and Family Services. I'm an employee of Department of Job and Family Services. They aggressively support the Fatherhood Initiative. And then the third is the steering committee. We have a steering committee of community leaders made up of job titles such as magistrate in domestic relations court, judge in common pleas court, assistant chief prosecutor in Summit County, deputy director of Summit County Children's Services. These are leaders in the community that help support the initiative. And when the Fatherhood Initiative is supporting fathers who have run into difficulties with the justice system, these community leaders, part of our steering committee, actually help us then work them through the system. So those connections are very important. So we have three prongs that really make up the Summit County Fatherhood Initiative.
So a lot of energy behind launching this particular initiative.
Very much so.
And so did it start in the city of Akron specifically?
It did, yes. It did. It started in the city of Akron, and as it became a larger force in the county, as the funders got behind it, and as United Way particularly got behind it, we formed a strategic plan. And the strategic plan says that we need to move this initiative far beyond the city of Akron, because Summit County is not just the city of Akron. So part of our strategic plan says that we will move the initiative to the four corners of the county. And we're happy to say that Twinsburg is the first corner that we're approaching.
That's wonderful.
And we're having wonderful results here, and we really appreciate your support.
Well, you know, and it's just not the school district that is part of the initiative here in Twinsburg. And Bishop Smith, thank you for being here this morning with us. We know that the school district is a part of this, but so is the Twinsburg Ministerial Association. Can you tell our audience a little bit about that group?
Yeah, the Twinsburg Ministerial Association is a group that was formed about 10 years ago from the person at the United Church of Christ, Pastor Dewey. And he realized that it would be better for us to get together as churches, ecumenical churches, and support community well-being. And so we're a part about, there's about maybe 10 or 12 churches. Our leader is Kathy Krejci, Pastor Krejci from the United Church of Christ. And we get together and we want to facilitate anything that promotes family, health, wealth, and family. So we're excited about being a part. We're just almost dancing in the rain. This is some tool that we can have, because many times when we try to reach out to individuals, when churches do, sometimes people are standoffish because it's the church. Are they going to do the proselyte me? Do I have to get baptized? Mm-hmm. Do I need to take communion at the church? Well, we're not about your faith. We're about helping your family, especially males, to become all that God destined them to become. In the Hebrew culture, the divorce rate is 6%. In the American culture, it's 50%. And the only difference is that the father is in the home 95% more than we have in the culture of just being regular Americans. So there must be something to that.
Absolutely. And
so we're just a part, we're excited about being a part, facilitate, open a door of access to come into this area. And we're excited.
Well, and our partnership with the school district and the Twinsburg Ministerial Association far exceeds the Fatherhood Initiative. We've been partners now for several years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a great partnership that it is. And then in addition to the ministers in town, we have the city of Twinsburg, the village of Reminderville, and Twinsburg Township are all part of this initiative and are supporting the effort, along with the Emergency Assistance Center, which is a partnership near and dear to the Twinsburg City School District, because they sponsor our Pause on Child Hunger program.
Right.
So it is a huge initiative and so many prongs. So Bill, you mentioned that there was an interest in bringing this to northern Summit County here in our town. Mm-hmm. Where else is this initiative going to be grown, hopefully, in the near future?
Our strategic plan calls for us to have efforts going in Cuyahoga Falls, Barberton, and the city of Greene. And those should take care of the four corners of the county.
Great.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what this means to our families in town. What kinds of things can we look forward to in the planning for the Fatherhood Initiative in our three communities?
Well, the way that we, the best way for me to explain very shortly how it would work is the first thing we would do is have a community meeting where we introduce the Fatherhood Initiative to a group of fathers. And that's like a 1-hour session. And then after that, we typically find some fathers that say, well, you know, I would like to take the next step and that we would offer, and that would be a workshop. It would be an 8-hour workshop. We would probably spread it over 2 Saturdays, 4 hours each. And then after that, we typically find that these fathers are saying, yep, I would like to get involved in some course material. And then we would start teaching course material. A typical course is 8 sessions. It would be once a week for 2 hours.
And what would the topics cover?
The topics would be things like anger management, stress in the household, stress from work, how do your children react to that, communication, the father's role, getting involved with your children, dealing with anger. I already talked about that. Knowing myself. I know that I could always use some help there. Improving communication skills, fun with the kids, those kinds of things to help the father develop even yet a more connected relationship. So no matter where you're at in your role as a father or father role model, there's very likely something in this evolution of workshops and course material that can help a father.
Right. And Bishop, I know that we've already met at your church, the Sanctuary of Praise, one time to talk about this initiative. Moving forward, what are some of the things that potentially are on the calendar as part of this initiative?
Well, we hope to host the Fatherhood Initiative in February of 2016, and we're opening up the doors of our church in Twinsburg Township, and it's 8788 Haddon Road, the Sanctuary of Praise. And they're going to come in, and the Fatherhood Initiative is going to do their thing, and it's going to be a great time of understanding. So we're trying to get early heads up to be with them February the 6th, around 10 to 12 p.m.
That's great. And then also our Tiger Wellness Workshop in the month of January, on the 16th of the month. We have a wonderful initiative. This is many years now in the making that we celebrate in the month of January, wellness. And at the beginning of any calendar year, everybody comes on board with all these New Year's resolutions, a great time to think about wellness. And as part of our wellness workshop at the Twinsburg High School on the 16th, the Fatherhood Initiative will have a table and an opportunity for a segment there too. Mm-hmm. What would that look like?
We're looking forward to being there. If we have the opportunity to give a segment, we would have probably a 5 or 10 minute conversation and we would hand out some brochures that talk about the 3 steps to getting involved. And actually, there's a way for most all fathers to get involved. I'd like to think of the initiative as either a get from it or give to it.
Perfect. Mm-hmm.
If you are in need of fatherhood services, you can get something from it. If you come from a very stable family relationship, traditional relationship, maybe you can give to it. Maybe you can help us mentor others. So 2 ways to look at it, get from it or give to it.
And that's perfect because no matter what role you have in life, you can do one or the other.
Exactly.
That's phenomenal. So then we want our families to mark January 16th on their calendar, Saturday at Twinsburg High School between 9 and noon. It's our Tiger Wellness Workshop. A lot of great activities for the entire family to come out. I know that we're going to have a free throw for the Pause on Child Hunger program and these wonderful segments talking about wellness, not only physical wellness, but emotional and mental health wellness too. And that fits perfectly into the Fatherhood Initiative. Yes. Do you have any final thoughts to share with our community today as part of our program?
I believe there's a spiritual mandate from God to reconcile father and son. In the book of Malachi, it says that in that day he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the son and the son to the father, and there'll be a blessing in that relationship. We've got a long way to go to mentor the next generation. All it takes for us to blow one generation, and it takes many generations to recuperate.
That's true.
So we're excited about what's going on. And I wanted to reiterate on that February the 6th. It's a Saturday. It's about 10 a.m. Okay.
10 a.m. on the 6th of February.
6th of February, 2016.
At the Sanctuary of Praise.
At the Sanctuary of Praise, right.
Great. And Bill, any final thoughts?
All the services are free, thanks to the generous support of all of our funders.
Wow.
Any fatherhood service that is delivered by the Fatherhood Initiative, be it course material or individualized supportive services, are free of cost to the father that we're serving.
And that's a great opportunity. No excuses, right?
That's right. That's
Wonderful.
exactly right. You just have to show up and get involved.
There you
well,
go.
Bishop, thank you for being here today. And Bill, always a pleasure to chat with you. Thanks for your enthusiasm and persistence and making sure that we're all on board and getting ready to get behind this initiative in a big way in 2016.
Right.
And thanks to you as well.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
When we return, we have a very important person to introduce to the community. It is our new varsity head basketball coach, Coach Phil Schmook. Stick around.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Welcome back to Twinsburg Schools Today. I hope that you enjoyed a little bit of an introduction to our Fatherhood Initiative. As I mentioned at the beginning of this show, 2016 brings a lot of changes and a lot of new things happening in our school district, and one of the exciting new things is to our varsity boys basketball team. I'd like to introduce to our community for the first time our new head varsity basketball coach, Phil Schmook. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you. Great to be here. Anytime we're talking about Twinsburg basketball, Twinsburg schools, it's a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, I know the season's underway. Although we taped the show in December, this is our January show. And I know that there's a lot of excitement around basketball at Twinsburg High School this year.
Well, I think, first of all, there's a lot of excitement, not just only in the high school, but I think also talking down into the elementary level. Twinsburg has an outstanding youth basketball program. As the new head coach here, I'm trying to tap into that program. Try to work, give some thoughts of positive things we can do. I'm seeing tremendous things that they do without anybody's assistance. So that's great, because those kids someday we want to play for us.
Absolutely.
We've tapped into that. We've went down. We've put on a basketball clinic for the coaches there. I attended their preseason basketball tournament. It was great to see some of the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade players that we have, seeing an involvement, not only from the player standpoint, but parental support, which I think is really, really important, not only in athletics, it's very important in academics and moving on and being successful in life. So we're doing those things. Talking about the junior high. We went down, opened the gym up for the young men down there, worked with those guys going through their initial tryouts. We've been coming down. We initiated a new program. One day a week, the 7th and 8th graders come up to the high school, and we go ahead, the high school coaches, that includes freshmen, JV, varsity assistant, and myself. We go ahead and put on a little drills for them, skill development, so that they're getting better. They're being exposed to what we want. It also is nice that they get to see us, because I'm concerned about those guys. I want them to come to our school.
Right.
Because I want them not only to play basketball, but, academically it's a great place.
Absolutely.
So if you can put your son in a position where the academics are important and you have a piece of athletics that is also going to be successful, it's just a home run.
Great combination.
Yeah, excellent.
I know that when Coach Bob Pacey stepped down from being the head of our basketball team, we as a school district were looking for somebody who had a lot of experience, because being the head coach is an important position. Can you tell our community a little bit about your experience as head coach at other high schools?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Started out a long time ago as a young man at Richmond Heights High School. Coached there. We were very successful, and was there for approximately 22 years. After 22 years there, I moved out west to Amherst Steele High School. Spent 1 year out there, and then I ended up at Maple Heights High School for the last 7 years. In all 3 places, we ended up being very successful. And I think why we were successful at the places were the pieces involved there. It was the administrative support, it was the players themselves, the families, and then the coaches. I see that here. I see that here. We have those pieces. And so it's up to me basically to develop that. And if I can't develop that, then that's my problem. And I'm feeling we will develop it. I'm thinking we're going to be very successful.
Well, you mentioned all of the things that happened before the season started, and I know that when I was at the middle school, R.B. Chamberlain, how appreciative the administration and the coaching staff was that the head varsity coach was down with the middle school students and working through the drills.
Right. Well, I think first and foremost, I think head coach needs to do those things. Mm-hmm. If you care about a program, if you want to be successful, if you want young men to be successful, you need to put the time in. You need to provide quality instruction. And most importantly, you need to develop a roadmap that they can follow. Mm-hmm. And what better than you as the head coach to be that guy to help develop that?
How do you develop a sense of team with the students? Because I would imagine on any varsity team, you have a certain pecking order with the upperclassmen having played a sport for many years, but then you're bringing in the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors to join them. How do you build a sense of team?
I think every aspect of building a team is different from year to year, with all the different personalities that exist, all the different combination of personalities and different grade levels that might be on your varsity team. I think the first thing you have to do, and this is where I think it takes a little bit of time, where you can't initially do that your first year. You have to build a team concept in your whole program. From the time they enter, you wish you could do it in the grade school level, okay, but realistically, you have a better chance to do that starting in the middle school, where everything is about Twinsburg basketball. It's not about their own self. So you start developing that at a younger level. Then you're looking at your varsity team. As a coach, it's up to you to take what you have and get the most out of them. And in doing that, you need to express to them every decision you make as a coach is about two things. It's about the team and it's about them. The problem, though, is the team has to be first, and for that team to be the best, then the individuals come into play. And the better the individuals can be, and the better they'll work with each other, the better the team will be. So it's a process, and here's the thing. I think that's something you have to manage all the time. It's not only during a season. I think you build a team in the off season, because you talk about commitment from young men. You talk about developing a relationship with them, talking about being honest, understanding what compromise is, being flexible with guys, providing opportunities. And then they see that, and then you see what they're like, and now you're getting a better gauge on everyone, and it allows you to become a better team. So that's, you have to be, in all your decisions you make. And that's probably, I'll throw this in, when you are in your first year in a program, probably one of the most difficult things to do is develop a team with your varsity team your first year. And here's why. Think of it this way. We all, you took any kid, he's a 12th grader. Take a young man who's an 11th grader. Here's someone coming new in. Think how we feel when we get a new boss. We're a little apprehensive. We don't know. Now throw it onto a young man, 16, 17, 18. He's very skeptical. He's very unsure of what's going on. And so what you need to do in those instances is you need to do a lot of reinforcement into what we want. We're not looking at, 3 years down the road. We're talking now. Yeah, we want to build a basketball program. And down the road, we want to get to this point, let's say. So does that mean you throw away everyone your first year? The answer is no. You have to go ahead and develop a team that first year and make it the best team you can with everybody you have. And you don't think about 3 years down the road for every kid. Mm-hmm. As a coach, you're building every year. But you also need to think about right now. And that's probably one of the most difficult things to do. And that's something our guys, I think, are accepting. And they're putting forth everything that we challenge. They're trying to reach that.
How do you recruit student athletes that maybe have stepped away from playing basketball?
I think, number one, the first way I think that you recruit those kids back into your program, they're walking in your halls at school, is if they see that, one, the coaching staff cares, mm-hmm. two, the coaching staff is going to teach, they're going to teach them the game, and three, the coaching staff is looking to better not only the team, but those kids. And I think that's how you get them back. It's what you do. It's not what you say. It's what you do. We meet people all the time when we go to buy things, salesmen, who can sell you anything, but it doesn't mean there's substance to it. And I think sometimes young people do a better job of looking at a person and gauging their sincerity. And I think we need our players that maybe have stepped away to see the sincerity that we as a coaching staff have and see that something good's going to come out of this. Come on board. So I think that's the only way you can do it.
Right. So this is the first year of our new Suburban League.
Yeah.
And we're in the big school division.
Absolutely.
So what does that look like as far as the competition?
I will tell you, it's an outstanding league. You have tremendous teams in this league. You're just talking about, alone, you said neighboring schools that we have that are super tough. Nordonia High School right here. You have Hudson, you have Stowe, you have Cuyahoga Falls, Wadsworth. I'm very familiar with Brecksville, North Royalton. So it's a league where every single night you're going to have to show up and play hard. And even then, to be successful, you're going to have to execute. So that's great, I think, for the kids. The kids like stepping out every night and playing someone. As coaches, maybe we all don't. Sometimes we like easy games. But it should be really outstanding. It's a great league. I like the competitiveness in it. And I think that's going to make us better.
Great. And then finally, what about the academic piece? With your athletes, how do you make sure that they stay top of the class while they're also participating in an athletic program? I
think in that piece, and I think it starts with the coach, and the players need to understand and see that you care about academics. What I've always done, and now with today's day and age, it's a different world because we used to have young men turn in their progress book, their sheets off the. You don't need to do that anymore. Right. It's on their phone.
Sure.
So what we do is you have to check with the coach and show them your grades. Matter of fact, we just sent out a text. I think it was the other night, telling them all by Thursday of this week, we need to see an academic check. And then when you're doing that, you're monitoring those grades, finding out who needs help, getting them that help if they don't want to reach out for the help.
Right.
All right. And then you just keep monitoring the whole time. You have to do that. And it has to start with, you have to develop that with guys in 7th and 8th grade where they understand it's important. Sometimes with the kid, you need to say, if you don't have this, you can't have this.
Right.
And I think more than anything, academics is something here that I've noticed so far, our kids have taken very important.
Absolutely.
Very proud of that with a lot of the guys.
Well, they're students first.
Absolutely.
And an athlete second.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being on our show today.
Sure.
And we look forward to a fantastic season and a lot of Tiger spirit all
Yeah,
around
I
town.
do too. Not only fantastic season, let's have fantastic years year after year.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that concludes our show for today. We hope to see you very soon at one of our district events. And again, Happy New Year. Take care now, everybody.